I'm going to tell you right now, I'm about to go in because you guys know how I feel about worth. And I want you to understand this about worth. The root issue of life for everybody, even myself at times, we don't feel like we're enough, right? For whatever reason, we don't feel like we're enough. And there's so many reasons why we feel like that. Like a lot of you stated, maybe it's because of how somebody treated you. Maybe it's because somebody didn't respect you. Maybe it's because somebody didn't appreciate you. Maybe it's because somebody fired you. Maybe it's because of what somebody said to you. Right? There's a lot of things that try to convince us that we're not enough. The first thing I want to tell you is this, right? You might not be in control of what people try to give you, but you're always in control of what you accept. So the thing I need you to understand right now is that you were created enough. And I know that seems like some inspirational crap, motivational crap, but it's the truth. You were created enough. The problem that we have, as I just named all of those things, and I read this from you guys' comments, everything that you're dependent on to make you feel like you're enough is external, right? You're trying to feel enough by someone else's approval or about what somebody else says to you, by how somebody sees you, by how someone views you, right? By how someone treats you. And I understand these things because we're a human being and we rely so much on external validation. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that just because somebody doesn't see your worth doesn't mean you're worthless. Just because somebody doesn't see your value doesn't mean you're not valuable. Right? Sometimes it takes the wrong people to walk out of your life so the right people can enter your life. But so many times we feel like we're not enough because of how someone treats us. That's not the truth. Okay? Like that's them. That's not you. How someone treats you is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. A hurt person is not going to treat a person good. So I want you to understand this. You're enough because you were created enough. Okay, you're enough not because of your job, not because of a status, not because of how many people follow you on social media, not because of how much money you have in your bank account, not because of a relationship, not because of how many friends you have. You're enough because you were created enough and God said that. That's facts. That's why you're enough. All right, you got to stop basing your enoughness. It's not even a word, but you got to stop basing your enoughness off of external things. Because you can't control those things. If you allow people to control how you feel about yourself, then you will live an emotional up and down roller coaster life. And I know a lot of you right now are going to say, Trent, that's easier said than done. Trent, I get you, but that's easy. I understand that too. But you got to stop basing your worth off of external things. You allowing somebody to tell you how to love you when they don't even know how to love themselves. They don't know what love is, and you accepting their definition of love in your life. You're enough because you were created that way. Okay, stop allowing your failures, stop allowing your setbacks, stop allowing all these things to control how you feel about you. And if you can share this live right now, please press share because somebody needs to hear it. In the times in my life where I felt like I wasn't enough, it's because I was placing my value in things that didn't value me. I was placing my value in things that could change. I was placing my value in the hands of things that I couldn't control. That's when I felt like I wasn't enough. So when I wasn't doing certain things or I didn't have certain things, I allowed that to make me feel a certain way about my life. What that is called being a puppet to those puppet masters. And I talk about this a lot, but I need to talk about it again tonight. Some of us, we are tied to strings that are controlling our self-esteem, that are controlling our worth, that are controlling how we feel about ourselves. Right? We're being controlled by these things. So if my relationship is good, then I feel good about myself. If my job is good, then I feel good about myself. If people approve of me, then I feel good about myself. If I have followers on social media, then I feel good about myself. If my business is booming, then I feel good about myself, right? You're allowing all these things to control how you feel. But then when those things are low, you start to feel like, dang, well, this ain't working out, so I must be a bad person. Oh, I experienced failure in this section of my life, so I must be a failure. Oh, this person did me wrong, so I must not be worthy of better treatment in my life. And you become a puppet to those things controlling you. You got to know the facts and the truth about your life. You got to know the facts and the truth about your life. You got to stop allowing people to sway you from your truth, to sway you from your facts. You are enough because you were created that way. The last time I checked, there were only one of you. That's it. One of you. You're custom made. You value everything else in the world that's custom made, but you can't value yourself that's custom made. You're custom made. You got to stop allowing people who don't know how to love tell you how to love yourself. You got to stop allowing people that don't respect themselves disrespect you. And this is the truth. The more you tolerate in your life, the more likely you have experienced heartbreak in your life. Some of you are tolerating all these things over and over and over. Some of you are going against your values. Some of you are going against your principles. Some of you are going against the things that you know you stand for. Some of you are going against what's right. And you allow these people to keep coming into your life. You allow things to keep coming into your life. And guess what? The things that come into your life will break you down if you allow those things to keep breaking you down and stay there. Right? It's time for you to give some eviction notices to some things in your life. It's time for you to cut some people off, and you might feel bad about it, but listen, if they handed you the scissors, stop being bad or feeling bad about it. You got to stop tolerating disrespect. You got to stop tolerating people to treat you like you're not worthy enough, because you're going to believe that at some point. Some of us, we believe so much from people that didn't have no self-respect for themselves, and we live like that. Some of you are a form of yourself that you weren't created to be because you allowed this stuff to stay in your life. I've said it before. There's some bridges in your life that they need to be burned because there's certain things your life cannot afford to go back to. There's certain things your life cannot afford to stay in. But you got to do the responsibility part, because what you continue to allow will continue to take place. Do you hear me? What you continue to allow will continue to take place. Do you hear me? What you continue to allow will continue to take place. Do you hear me? What you continue to go on in your life will continue to happen. Right? Nobody's going to respect you if you would keep allowing disrespect. How you get somebody to respect you is not allow disrespect in your life. Okay? So that's one side of it. And the other side of it is your worth is not dependent on anything external. Please understand that. Right? We got to get to the point of that when we look in the mirror, we love ourselves and we don't judge ourselves. We appreciate ourselves, the flaws, the imperfections. When I talk about knowing your worth, I talk about it in this way, right? Knowing your worth is made up of two things. Uno, dos. Hope I said that right. All right. Two things. Number one is the acceptance of self. And number two is the confidence of self. If you have those things, you're going to know your worth. You're going to live your worth. The problem is most of us don't have those two things. Most of us don't have either one of them. Right? We don't have the acceptance of self, meaning we haven't accepted who we truly are. We haven't accepted our past. We haven't accepted our mistakes. We haven't accepted our flaws. We haven't accepted our imperfections. And we live life like that. We live life like that. And the second thing is we have no confidence in ourselves at all. We allow the world to take away our confidence. We allow people, right, that were manipulators, people that were in our life, just taken from our life and not given into our life. We allow those things to take away from our confidence. We allow comparison to take away from our confidence. And so if you don't have those two things, you're not going to know your worth. You're not going to know your worth. So every time I felt like I wasn't enough, let me ask you this. What is enough? I did a whole tour on this, and I asked people this question the whole tour. And I ask people, what's your definition of enough? Because so many people are quick to say, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I don't feel like I'm enough. What you adding your life up to? What's the measuring stick you're measuring your life up to? What's enough for you? Most people don't even know. So now you have an invisible measuring stick of what enough is. So you basically have something you never will achieve. And so you're set yourself up to lose. From the get-go, what's your enough? A lot of people don't know. I don't feel like I'm enough. Okay, well, what's enough? The acceptance of other people? Well, I promise you'll never feel like you're enough because that's impossible. Everybody in the world ain't going to accept you. Or what's enough? Having somebody treat me the way I deserve. Well, sometimes people ain't going to treat you the way you deserve. They're going to treat you in the way that you accept. Facts. So what's your enough? Well, I don't know, Trent. You got to be clear on what your enough is. Get clear on that. Crystal clear. And my enough is how God created me. I ain't in this to prove nothing to nobody. I ain't in this to go on a whole life of proving people. Because I know the first step to unhappiness is trying to please everyone else. I know the first step to misery is trying to prove things to everybody else. It's trying to prove things to this world. I'm not here to prove anything. If I'm here to prove something to anybody, it's proving myself how much I love who I am. Going on that journey. Doing the internal work. But every person that made a comment tonight, why they feel like they're not enough, it was something outside of them why they felt like that. And that, my friend, I hate to tell you this, you will never feel like you're enough. Ever. Ever. If you allow other people to be your measuring stick of what enough is. All right. And I know you want people to treat you better. I know you want people to believe in you. I know all of those things. Listen, and when that happens, it's beautiful. But you got to focus on what you can control. No matter how people treat you, it should never change how you treat yourself. No matter how people view you, it should never change how you view yourself. No matter what people give you, words, rumors, gossip, hate, negativity, disrespect, it should never change how you view yourself. You can give me all the hate in the world, but guess what? I'm still going to love me. You can give me all the disrespect in the world, but I promise you, I'm still going to respect me. Facts. You might not be in control of what people try to give you, but you are in control of what you accept. And what you accept, right, in your life is what you will become. So if you don't like the person that you are, and I know this might be a little bit insensitive, guys, I'm sorry. You know me, I'm just going to be straight up with you because I care to make change in your life. If you don't like the person that you're becoming or you have became, just please check the connections in your life. What are you connected to? Are you connected to things that drain you? Are you connected to things that make you feel less? Are you connected to things that make you hate yourself? Are you connected to things that constantly make you compare who you are instead of appreciating who you are? Check your connections because connection is power. What you're connected to will power you or it will drain you. Facts. And some of us, we connected to things that literally drain our life, that literally suck the life out of our soul, that literally make us feel like we're less. And we stay connected to that. But you have the power. Like the plug is in your hands. You got the power. I don't want to hear no excuse. You got the power. You can unplug that thing. You can unplug it. If you don't like the connection that it's giving you, the power that it's giving you, you can unplug it and disconnect from it. But for some of us, it's going to take a rock bottom. For some of us, we really ain't sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because if you're really sick and tired of being sick and tired, you ain't saying next time. You ain't saying, you saying right now. Life is too short to settle for less. Life is too short for disrespect. Life is too short to be in environments that don't energize you. Life is too short to be around environments that bring you stress. Life is too short to try to prove yourself to people. Life is too short for that, bro. And if you're in the business of all of that, you're going to live a very rough life. Okay, and I'm not just blaming other people because we got to do our part, right? Because it all starts with you. It all starts with you. It all starts with y'all. I was reading some comments. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it tonight. I just wanted to title that because listen, I go through my times where I feel like I'm not enough, but then I check myself. I check myself and I evaluate what am I defining my enough by? And usually when I feel like I'm not enough, it's something externally that I'm trying to define my enoughness by. That's it. And so I take my power back by saying, you know what? I can't control that, but I for damn sure can control how I feel about myself. Right? And that don't matter what's going on outside of me. It don't matter what's going on in my life. I'm going to feel good about me because I'm going to feel good about me. And it's time for you to do the same. It's time for you to stop waiting on a relationship to love yourself. It's time for you to stop waiting on significance from social media to feel important. It's time for you to stop waiting on all of that. It all starts with you. Give yourself that. Like, give yourself that. All right? Stop feeling like you're enough when you were created enough. Like, please, please, please understand that. Know your worth, and I appreciate the prayers from my mom. I see everybody saying that. Thank you. You know, my mom is still battling. We appreciate the prayers and everything. You know, but one thing my mom told me, and I'm going to tell y'all, is, you know, you better know you're enough because God created you that way. You are far more precious than rubies, diamonds, all of that. I set you apart. Before you were formed in that womb, you were set apart. You got to start believing that, man. Those ain't words, man. Y'all don't be believing it. That's the problem. That's the problem. Y'all don't be believing it. Right? I'm just here talking. Some of y'all ain't believing. You hearing it, but you ain't believing it. That's the problem, man. You got to start believing it. Right? Believing what God said about you. Believing how God created you. Right? Believing your greatness. Believing. And the more you believe in what you do and who you are, the less you tolerate being around mess and drama. I don't tolerate it in my life. I have no room for disrespect. I have no tolerance for ignorance. None. Zip. Nada. None. I don't care if people call me cold-hearted. I don't care if people call me, oh, you changed. I don't care. I would rather live cold-hearted than broken-hearted. I would rather live cold-hearted than miserable, right? If people want to call me that, and I'm not cold-hearted, by the way, but if people want to call me that because I decide to remove myself from a situation or I decide not to participate in ignorance, then so be it, right? But my happiness, my peace, my joy, my sanity is way more important than pleasing some damn people. Facts. All right. Some of y'all care way too much about what other people think. And that's going to lead to a very stressful and miserable life. Okay. Some of y'all are chasing people that you don't need to be chased. Like man, when I say some of y'all, I've been there before in my life. I get it. So I'm not just picking on you, but I'm leaving after this because I'm about to just go all the way in, but I need to stop because I'm already losing my voice. But the problem sometimes is this. We are praying to God. We're praying to God to save something that he's trying to save us from. Right? I know my prayers so many times in my life, I was praying to God, God, please save this, keep this in my life. But really he was trying to save me from it. Some of us, we're chasing the things that haven't been God sent. And if you just step back and just look at it, just look. Use common sense, just look. Is that how somebody who loves you, or is that how love is supposed to be like operated? Is that how somebody who values somebody treats somebody? Right? Just look. Just look and use common sense and say, you know what? That ain't right. That ain't right. And make the decision from there. All right. I know it's easier said than done. I get it. But for your heart's sake, for your sanity's sake, for your peace sake, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Or else, ain't nothing going to change. And listen, if you ain't making no changes, as I've always said, and I'll leave with this, stop complaining about the things that you aren't willing to change. Okay? Stop complaining about it, because complaining about it will do absolutely nothing about it. And it doesn't make you a bad person for doing what's good for you. Okay? It doesn't make you a selfish person for doing what's good for you. And don't take that out of context, guys. Okay, I'm talking about positive things for yourself. All right? So I wanted to share that with y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. My website is below. The reason I'm sending you guys there is because I have a Love Yourself challenge that's going on that you need to be a part of. Then also, all my content is there, right? My podcast, videos that you don't see on here that's on YouTube. You can like binge watch hours of videos that you can go there, and so many other cool things that you'll get. And you get to be a part of my email list, which is incredible because I do things for that list that I don't do for other people. And I have something special called Rare Breed Academy that's coming out that I'm taking a part of. And I'm going to need your help because I have Rare Breed Academy Youth. And what I want to do is I want to sponsor them with you guys' help, right? So I want to be able to give back to the youth with you guys' help, because you guys are always asking, like, how can I help? How can I give? So through Rehab Time, which is my nonprofit, right, you guys will be able to help if you want to, so kids don't have to pay for anything, okay? Because we live in a world where everybody's charging kids for everything, and I want to be able to give back to kids, all right, for high training and everything like that. So we'll talk about that at a later date. I appreciate you. Thank you, Running for the Stars, 3-week streak. And what I'm about to do right now, I'm about to go to Instagram. All right, Instagram is always a different experience. So come on IG, follow me on IG. And who knows, we might do Clubhouse tonight. Probably not, because Maria's probably like, nah, that's too much. So yeah, man, thank you so much for rocking with me tonight. And, as I wrap it up, and I know I got passionate, and I know I can get like very like passionate when I speak. It's because I really care, man. Like, I'm not a guy on here trying to be professional and trying to, I don't know, like tell you what you want to hear. I've never been like that for the last 10 years. You guys have been rocking with me for the last decade. Know that. I'm going to tell you what's on my heart and what needs to be heard. Sometimes what needs to be heard, you don't want to hear it. I've been there so many times in my life. Like I can tell you so many times, like, I'm like, I don't want to hear that, bro. Like, even myself, like, I'll listen to some of my old videos and be like, I don't need to hear that right now. But I know the truth sometimes hurts, but the truth always helps. Okay, the truth always helps. And there's peace, there's strength on the other side of maybe the decisions that you need to make, but you're afraid to make. And I know how hard it is to make certain decisions in your life. I know you can be judged, you can be ridiculed. I know how it is to walk away from certain situations or start new situations. I get it. I know it's easier said than done, but there's so much joy and peace on the other side that's meant for your life. And, the reason I do what I do, my mission is, like, if you guys don't know, I mean, I know a lot of y'all know my story, but one of my best friends committed suicide. because he felt like he wasn't enough. So when I get passionate about this stuff, man, this is real for me. This ain't no motivational speaker dude that just does this. This is real for me, and I promised him that like I will make sure like people know their worth, bro. So when I talk about this stuff, I get really emotional and passionate because I know it can help save a life. I know so many people take their lives because they feel like they're not enough. Matter of fact, that's probably the root of all suicide, right? They feel like they're not enough. And I want to let you know you are enough, and stop basing your enoughness off of things you shouldn't base it off of. All right, you're enough not because of what you have in your life. You're enough because of who you are and who you were created to be. And so when you truly understand that, the value of that, it's life-changing. And it took me a while to get to that place. So it's not an overnight process. It's an overtime process. So I love you guys. And I see some of you talking about the emails. You might not get no emails. So just reach out to the team, but it should be on the site anyway, with the Love Yourself Challenge. All right. Thank you. Peace out, y'all. Instagram time. Let's get it. @Trent Shelton.